Good morning, or afternoon or evening if you're watching the replay of this. But for our live viewers, we just want to say good morning and happy Tuesday to you. Today is That's Happening Tuesday here on News in Motion. And also today is June 13th, 2023. You are on the radio waves for our audio and podcast listeners. You are on the radio waves with the one and only Mr. Isaiah Jones. Thank you for turning those dials to Hot 97 as we are getting ready to listen to some relevant commentary and call to action news headlines with the one and only Miss Gail Deli. Of course, we have Mr. Kenny Stanley talking about the NBA Finals to my Miami people. Y'all put up a good fight. Yeah, at least y'all didn't get swept like LeBron and the Lakers. Just think of that as a consolation prize. But yes, it is official. Last night was the nail in the coffin per se, as Miami went down. More on Kenny Stanley will give on that. I know I have to check on a few people, from Miami, but we also have Devontae Goins coming in with a special report. So whether you are tuning in through Facebook, through YouTube, if you are also a LinkedIn viewer, we just want to say thank you for tuning in. And with that being said, let's get some news in motion.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's time for News in Motion. I am your host, Gail Dudley. I'm looking at the chat. I'm laughing at Isaiah. I'm looking in the green room. There's a lot of screens and things that are going on. So when I'm looking off, just know I'm probably laughing at somebody. So let me just go ahead and say that up front. I see you all rolling up in here. Let me share this. Yesterday, and we noticed it on our end, Isaiah and I did talk about it a little bit. A lot of you came in way late. And then you were inboxing us, letting us know, hey, I couldn't get in. I didn't get my alert. We have no idea and we have no control on that side. So one thing we want to remind you to do is to set your alerts, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. You can set your alerts, or you can just put it in your calendar as a reminder Monday through Thursday at 7:25 a.m. in whichever location you want to go to. So there was a lot of you. So we don't know what was happening with that on yesterday, but there were a lot of you talking about that. Y'all really are into this game. Okay. Let me give some shout outs real quick. I see Regina Shorts in here, Adrian, Shirley Nicholson, Jeffrey Payne. Good morning, Fred Jones, Marion Jackson, Kenny Stanley. He's also in the green room. Kim Edmondson. Y'all, Fred Jones is really into this. Okay, all right, Fred Jones. Deborah Sneed is in here. Dr. Antoinette's in here. Good morning to all of you. Shardinia is in here. Stephanie Burbridge Hall and Yvonne Gardner. Good morning to you. Y'all, today is I was going to say Monday, but it's Tuesday, June the 13th, 2023. I am your host, Gail Dudley. Welcome everyone who's tuning in live. If you happen to watch the replay, that's cool. For those of you who are over there on the audio side, podcast side, you'll hear us. You'll hear me having conversation with people in the chat. Those are the live viewers who are on either YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. So we're talking back and forth. Some of you say you tune in, you are cracking up because you know that there's people who are posting. There's so many people saying they're happy to meet people when they're out. That happened this past Sunday when I was the guest preacher at Second Baptist Church in Circleville. Pastor Derek Holmes is the pastor there, and he invited me to come do Women's Day. So it was so nice to see Katrina Blackwell and Latrice Jones meet up. They were so excited because they've known each other here through this News in Motion platform. Y'all, it is That's Happening Tuesday. We have a lot of news we want to bring to you. But before we go there, it's time to shout out some men who tune in regularly to News in Motion. Not all of y'all, but I'm going to shout as many out as I can. Jeffrey Allen James, Kenny Stanley, Fred Jones, Isaiah Jones, Jeffrey Payne, Pastor Alex, Liz Pryor III, John Gore, Timothy Black, Kevin Richards, Wayne Dennis, Devontae Goings, Brian Costin, Michael Priestley, Carl Wright, Aaron Hollingsworth, Mike Nicholson, Troy Beasley, Tom Wilson, Richard Kaiser, Tim Blankard, Devin Mims, John Williams, Marvin Hopkins, and Daniel Gibbs. That's just the first slate. I believe that's 25 that I pulled out to put up here today. You'll hear more the rest of this week going into next week. We just want to shout out our men. Y'all, Father's Day is coming up on this Sunday. Make sure you shower them, you over shower them, you bless them, you speak life to them, whatever that looks like for you. Make sure we're lifting up our men. And as y'all be calling me out, and it's just I get into the news and I just do me, and there's like I don't have a rhyme or rhythm exactly how I pull all this together. But some of you men like told me, here's my name, can you shout me out? But also you gave a lot of women's books when it was Women's History Month, and you said June was dedicated to men. So can you give a book? Well, y'all, this is one of the greatest books. I'm gonna give this one again. And he has a new book out. I'm just waiting for it to come in the mail. He has a new book out called Disruption, and I hear it is amazing. But this is TD Jakes, Don't Drop the Mic. It's always a good one. I've read through this about 3 times now. So make sure y'all check this out. Now, if you have any men's books that you want me to shout out, just email me. You can email me at newsinmotionwithgail@gmail.com. Again, that's news in motion with Gail at gmail.com. Send me the title, send me the book. I'll try to get a copy so I can show it. If not, we'll try to get some images or something up there to make sure you have that information. And Robert Holman is coming in as well. So good morning to you. All right, this is our third anniversary month. The anniversary is actually next Thursday. Now, we won't have a celebration. Don't boo me, because our focus is on voter registration. So I have an ask for you. We are asking here at the News and Motion team that all viewers and listeners register at least 3 people to vote in celebration of our 3rd-year anniversary. So no big to do, no balloons or fireworks or anything like that. We're asking you, y'all, this election, and y'all, yeah, we're a year ahead, but this is going to be the most important election. We said this last year. It just keeps building. This is going to be the most important election. And there's so many local things that are happening, state things that are happening, and it's building, y'all. Please pay attention. And we're doing our best to make sure you have all that information. But we're not asking for you to do anything else. We're not going to have guest people or interviews or anything like that. We're asking you between now and next Thursday to register at least three people to vote. That's in celebration. And then if you would send it to us and let us know, hey, I've registered 3 people, hey, whatever that is, so we can have that information, we would greatly appreciate it, and we will share that out to you. For those of you who are new to our digital platform and for returning viewers, we have updated our mission. We told y'all that back in May. I just want to share it again since we're in that anniversary month. News in Motion is a grassroots aggregated, which means we pull news from every direction. We get all of these alerts. We comb through them, and we're bringing you the news, aggregated news that provides citizens with the opportunity to become more engaged in civic life through headline news, voter education, and a call to action, all with an inspirational message. It's a grassroots movement designed to empower and motivate through informative and engaging content. Also, if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube, please go on over there after the show and go to www.youtube.com/Gail Dudley, and that's GAILDUDLEY, and subscribe. We do not want you to miss any episode. Also, y'all, we are continuously looking for volunteers for voter registration. We kicked this off officially in June. I think it was last Monday, or maybe it was this past month. I don't know what Monday it was. It wasn't yesterday, so it was last Monday. We're joining other organizations and registering people to vote. Our goal is just a goal. Our goal is 5,000 per month through September 2024. Not this September, but next September. So we're a part of this voter registration drive, and we want all of you to participate if you can. With that, Isaiah was hyped when he came in the green room. Kenny was hyped, and he was a little sad too, because y'all know Kenny was going all the way with a particular team. And I think Kenny like missed it twice. I don't know. Anyway, bring in Kenny Stanley so he can talk about the NBA Finals.
Hey, what's going on?
Are you hurting over there or what?
Yeah, I'm kind of sad this morning. Kind of
Don't be
sad.
sad. Look, you're not getting paid for
I'm not getting
NBA. You're
paid.
not getting a million, so why be sad?
Uh, because I didn't want Denver to win. I didn't want Denver to win. Now I got to hear
Listen.
from Fred Jones for the next week.
Well, I'm gonna let you report out, and I'll be back in a few moments.
All right. News and Fortune family, good morning. How y'all doing this morning? Yeah, I'm a little sad. The Miami Heat tried, but they did put up a fight. But the Denver Nuggets delivered a Game 5 knockout last night with a 94-89 victory to take home their first NBA championship in franchise history. After 47 years of being in the league, the Denver Nuggets can go and have a seat at the championship table as NBA champs. Nikola Jokic, aka the Joker, put the Nuggets on his back last night, and he carried them to victory. Uh, as neither team shot very well from the floor, Denver shot 45% from the floor and 17% from three. And the Miami Heat was no better as they shot 34% from the floor and 25% from three. Jokic, who won the Bill Russell MVP trophy given to the Finals MVP, he won that trophy last night. He finished with 28 points and 16 rebounds. Joker is the first NBA player in league history to finish the postseason with 600 points, 269 rebounds, and 190 assists. Joker could play. Joker he's a man amongst men. Joker can play. I got to give him credit for that. Joker is that dude. The Heat were a scrappy bunch last night. They had the halftime lead, 51-44, but that lead was erased in the fourth quarter as Denver jumped out to a 7-point lead. And then all of a sudden, Jimmy Butler decided to wake up. He finished with 21 points, but he woke up and scored 8 straight, giving the Heat a 1-point lead. But up until that point, Butler was 2 for 13 from the floor. Horrible. I was calling him Jimmy Buckets. Right now, he's just Jimmy Butler right now. I got to take that buckets off of there. But he was 2 for 13 from the floor till he had that 8-point spurt. And he was I just looked in the chat. Yeah, he might have been point shaving. I don't know, man. Don't put that on him like that. But Jimmy Butler, he did his thing. He tried to do his thing. But the guy who I thought played his heart out the whole series was Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo is that dude. He had another double-double last night. He finished with 20 points and 12 rebounds. Miami can lead this championship series with their head up, though. They are survivors. They survived 2 play-in games. They beat the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games. They turned around, beat the New York Knicks 4-2, and won that series. And then, as we witnessed, this is what got me on Miami's side. As we witnessed, they beat Boston in 7 games, and was crowned the NBA Eastern Conference champions. That's why I was pulling for Miami. They were the underdogs, and they made it all the way to the championship, only to be put out in 5 games. But that's okay. But all the NBA fans in Denver, now y'all can celebrate. Not only do your football team, not only is the Denver Broncos NFL champs of the past, now your basketball team, the Denver Nuggets, they got a Larry O'Brien championship trophy. Is now in Denver. That's sports. Let me ask y'all something. Can you do me a favor? Can you give News and Motion some support? Send a cash app, do anything to Gail Dudley for News in Motion, and let's see what we can do. We got to keep this thing going. That's sports for me. It's game over. Let's get back to Gail for some more news.
Wow, thank you, Kenny. I was like,
Yeah,
where's he going?
yeah. I'm going. You need this guy to support. We got to support the show. We got to support the
Hey,
show.
I appreciate it. I thank you so much for your wrap up with the NBA finals. I'm always, again, I didn't watch, But this morning when I saw the headlines, I said, "Oh, Kenny's probably hurting
Yeah, I'm
today."
hurt. I'm hurt. Ed Jones ain't gonna let me live it down either.
Well, cool. Well, cool. Well, cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
We will
you.
see you on Thursday.
I see
All
you
right, y'all.
Thursday.
It is That's Happening Tuesday. So the news continues, and we have some rapid fire that's coming up as soon as we hear from Devontae Goins. But before we go to Devontae Goins, y'all, today is the day. Former President Donald J. Trump will be arraigned in court today in Miami on classified documents charge. Now, he plans to plead not guilty. I just want to remind him that in these 49 pages are a lot of pictures. There's a lot of pictures. So I'm not sure how you're going to plead not guilty, but you do what you do. Again, your own attorney. A lot of these 49 pages come from your own attorney who took detailed notes of conversations and had tapes and everything else. So that's happening today. I'm not for sure the time. I'm sure it'll be on everybody's television. We may or may not repeat it tomorrow, but that is happening. Just so that you remember, I'll read this first part because I do have the 49 pages. Defendant Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of the United States of America. He held offices from January 2017 to January 2021 as president. Donald Trump had lawful access to most sensitive classified documents and national defense information gathered and owned by the United States government. That line right there is key. Gathered and owned by the United States government, not one person, including information from the agencies that comprise of the United States intelligence community and the United States Department of Defense. It goes on. Again, I encourage all of you, read it. Read it before the arraignment today if you can. Please read it. There's a lot of information in here, and it helps you connect the dots, and it will help you understand what is going on. For the record, President Joe Biden did not indict Donald J. Trump. The DOJ did. Jack Smith put it all together from his research, from tapes, from pictures, from all of these things, the number of documents that were turned over. So y'all let the process go through. I see you, Katrina, in here. Good morning to you. Deborah Sneed is in here. Patricia Lyles is in here. I think it's Kalani is in here as well. I just want to say good morning to all of you. All right, y'all, we have a special report, and then I'll be back giving y'all some serious news. So hold on. Come on in here, Devontae. Come on in here. Tell us what's happening here in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, you got to love those writing indictments. It reads like a quick read of a book. It's interesting. So everybody go on out and read those 49 pages. They'll blow by in a few minutes. All right. So with that writing indictment, let's switch over to something that's happening in Ohio right now in the State House, just a few feet away from me, actually. And that is Ohio lawmakers are wanting to abolish slavery as a punishment for crimes. And so what that simply means.
I think we lost Devontae. We'll bring him back as soon as he comes back on the air. But until then, let me tell you what's happening. NBC News reports that 22 U.S. service members were injured in Syria in a helicopter incident. That is happening. Axios is reporting that Fox News has sent a cease and desist letter to Tucker Carlson, y'all, as he ramps up his competing series on Twitter that drew a combined 169 million viewers for the first two episodes. And again, this is coming from Axios. The contract between Fox and its former top host, who was taken off the air in April after the network's historic Dominion settlement, has serious persecutions for conservative media ecosystem. Now, with Tucker on Twitter, that's a tongue twister, right? His growing production teams are working to elevate Elon Musk's social media site as a news platform. Again, this is all coming from Axios. Now, the letter, and it's a cease and desist letter that's saying not for publication in bold, that's written across the top of it. Now, Fox is continuing to pay Tucker Carlson through December 31st, 2024. Now, Carlson, of course, he's making his First Amendment argument for posting on Twitter and asserts that Fox is committed material breaches of his contract. This is getting ready to get real interesting as this plays out here. Also happening on Tuesday. The Healers report, get this, y'all, there's something strange about this deal. The U.S. Senate has now expressed that they are going to investigate the proposed merger between PGA Tour and the Saudi-backed Live Golf Series. Y'all, this is going to be real interesting. The Senate's Permanent Subcommittee on Investigation wants details of the PGA Tour's drastic reversal. Because, remember, this was out here once before. Then they went after Tiger Woods for trying to offer him $800 million. That's the Saudis. And then they went after another golfer for something similar again. And so then all of a sudden they merged. It's really strange. They want to know what's happening. So they're wanting to look at the position concerning the Saudi-backed Live Golf after the two controversial merged to form to a larger golf organization. Now, this is all according to a new letter from the panel chair, Senator Richard Blumenthal, a Democrat of Connecticut. CNBC reports, as we're talking about, that's happening Tuesday. JP Morgan Chase is prepared to pay $290 million in a settlement with victims of the late sexual predator Jeffrey Epstein. A person familiar with the matter told CNBC News on yesterday. The settlement does not include an admission of liability by the bank, the person said. But the announcement of the settlement came just a few hours before the judge ruled that the case in the U.S. District Court in Manhattan can proceed as a class action lawsuit. Timing is everything. I see Ferris Roach is in LinkedIn, and he said that PGA story is interesting. It is absolutely interesting. And this is how we connect the dots and see what's really happening, see who the players are. And believe it or not, Ferris, some more of this is going to come out, and we'll be able to see more dots connected there. I see Michelle Calloway coming in too. Good morning to you. So y'all, Monday's settlement stems from a claims filed last year by an unnamed woman, we're going to call her Jane Doe, that the bank knowingly benefited from and facilitated Epstein's sex trafficking operation. Now, the woman who alleges she was raped and trafficked sued on behalf of a large number of other victims of that operation. I need to say this again. The settlement does not in all caps, NOT, include an admission of liability by the bank. It does not. So they go on to say, from JP Morgan Chase, a representative there, and I give a direct quote, "We are now understanding that Epstein's behavior was monstrous, and we believe the settlement is in the best interest of all parties, especially the survivors who suffered unimaginable abuse in the hands of this man." So that is coming forward. I believe we're going to see more there as well. And I'm going to say this about that. Make sure you have read the fine print of your banking information. Before you sign that dotted line, make sure you have followed the fine print of all of that information. Kenny Stanley said, I said last weekend, I don't trust a PGA Tour commissioner. How do you go from being totally against Live Golf, but now you have become partners? Great question. Kenny also says, follow the money. Also, y'all, Yahoo Finance reports, that's happening Tuesday, y'all. That's happening Tuesday. Yahoo Finance reports that Microsoft, MSTF, planned acquisition of Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard, whatever that is facing another roadblock as the Federal Trade Commission filed a lawsuit seeking to squash the deal. Y'all, when you see news reports like this, and the reason why I'm reporting this morning is because when you see this, you're like, the questions I ask, why are you squashing the deal? The question I ask, well, who are the other players? What's really going on behind the scene? They have merged and acquired other people up until now. Why this one? What is it about this deal? Why is the Federal Trade Commission all up in the mix like this? In the suit, the FTC, that's the Federal Trade Commission, is seeking a permanent injunction that temporary restraining orders would prevent the Xbox maker from completing its deal to buy Activision Blizzard until the commission wraps up its own lawsuit against the move. Y'all, that was a whole lot that I just said right there. Now, Mike Nicholson said, nah, they got to leave Call of Duty alone. Well, first of all, I didn't know anything about Call of Duty, right? So I had to go be nosy, and I had to go find like what is this really about? What is this? And you look, and the reason I gave you Microsoft and MS as in Sam, F as in Frank T, and then Activision Blizzard, which is ATVI. Those are the initials for trades and stock and all that. All right. I know y'all know I'm not all the way versed in that yet. I'm growing there. Good morning, Dr. Annette. Good morning. We're still praying for you in the passing of your husband. Glad to see you're on here with us this morning. So, y'all, when it says until they wrap up its own lawsuit against the movie, y'all, that's happening Tuesday, so I got to break it down. Well, what's the other lawsuit? So I had to go be nosy and find the other lawsuit. Y'all, there's something, it's like who's in bed with whom? Like, really? Y'all, this is deep. This is deep. So, on one hand, we say, oh, if we just had the millions to do this, that, and the other, and be philanthropists and give here and give there and live this and live that way. But there's another thing of like, man, everybody's in bed with everybody. Do I even have the capacity to do these kind of things, and how and why? There's a lot going on here, y'all. And get this, y'all, the Federal Trade Commission, uh, the lawsuit that they're filing against Microsoft is proposed at a 69 billion, y'all. That's with a B, acquisition. That's a whole lot of money. That's a whole lot of money. So, what is it, Microsoft, that you have, and what is it that you are trying to acquire, and who exactly is Activision and Blizzard and all of that, y'all? There's a whole lot that's going on here that we have to keep unpacking. Y'all know I get excited about this. Also, CNBC reports that the food delivery giant Grubhub has laid off 15% of its workforce, about 400 employees. I don't know what about y'all. Listen, I'm still social distancing. I'm still calling up the restaurant. Can you bring the stuff to my car? I'm not coming in there quite yet. A lot, but y'all, they laid off 400 employees. Grubhub said that it is offering employees a minimum of 16 weeks severance. However, they declined to comment on specific groups or positions that were affected. Say what? So you want to do all this underneath? What's really going on? Why are you doing it? Will everyone get the 16 weeks? What's happening here? Y'all, again, questions that we must ask. Katrina says, everyone wants a piece of the pie. Yep. Ferris says Activision is a developer mostly known for the very popular game Call of Duty, known for. Yeah. So it's a whole lot, y'all, that's unpacking. And I hope y'all following this, because I wrote this in a way that we connect all these dots. And I see Devontae back in there, but hold on, Devontae, hold on. Y'all, I don't know why I'm sad about this, okay? I don't know why. And this is going to date me. But y'all, Hollywood Reporter reports that Pat Sajak will end his 4-decade run as the host of Wheel of Fortune after the 23-24 season. I don't know why I'm sad about that. I used to watch this with my grandma and my mom, and then I would watch it on my own. Then my children watch it with me. And I'm not a 100% watcher anymore, but it's just like sad. I know people have to move on. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Well, in a quote, he says, well, the time has come. I have decided that our 41st season, which begins in September, will be my last. He said this in a statement Monday. He goes on to say, it's been a wonderful ride, and I'll have more to say in the coming months. He said, many thanks to all of you. If nothing else, it'll keep the clickbait away and all the rumors away. So that's out there. Y'all, he's 76 years old. Which, okay, we get it. So he said he's going to do his retirement from hosting. He will also serve as a consultant to the show for 3 years after leaving his on-camera role. And they say that this will mark the end of an era for Wheel of Fortune. I don't know if y'all need to get there and be that person, step in for Pat Sajak and talk about voting as they run in that wheel. And then maybe all the puzzles need to be something about history. Yeah, we can really work this out. And Wheel of Fortune, if I hear that you did anything that I just said, just know this is recorded and I have a copy of it, and we'll be at the table negotiating if you take any of this vision I just gave you. All right. Also, CNBC reports. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna bring in Devontae real good. Devontae, you got about 90 seconds. I'll give you 2 minutes. Come on in here, Devontae, and give us that report.
All right, let's do it. Sorry about that, by the way. That was my producer shouting out to me, telling me my mother had fallen because she's here visiting. But anyways, back to what we were talking about, how the Ohio State House, some lawmakers have come together to abolish slavery as punishment for crimes from the state constitution. Yes, that's still a thing. So the amendment was introduced by Representative Dontavius Gerald, who represents the Columbus area here, and Republican Representative Phil Plummer, who represents the Dayton area. Here, let me read to you what the state constitution says in Article 1, Section 6, currently about slavery. And I quote, "There shall be no slavery in this state, nor involuntary servitude, unless for the punishment of crime," unquote. So what is the two lawmakers, who both a Republican and a Democrat, bipartisan support, what do they want to change the language to? What are they proposing? They're proposing this quote, "There shall never be slavery in this state, nor involuntary servitude." So let's bring this all together really quickly and talk about what this means if passed. So if both chambers of the Ohio State House, meaning the Ohio House of Representatives and the Ohio Senate, come together and pass this constitutional amendment, and then goes to voters. And so with it going to voters, I know we are all well aware that just a little, almost 2 months ago, rather, the Ohio State House, they changed the whole process to how you get constitutional amendments, and how us as constituents and citizens here in Ohio vote on those. Well, all of those go out the door, because this constitutional amendment is currently being made from inside the Ohio State House by one of our elected officials. And so simply, when it comes to us to vote on as a ballot referendum, we are going to need 50+1, a majority, not a supermajority, which you currently need when a constitutional amendments are being proposed and put before the voters in Ohio, and that is 60% or more. We simply just need 50%+1 to make this a reality. And this isn't the first time that this has been put before on the floor of the Ohio State House either. It was first most recently put back on the floor back in 2016 by former state rep Alicia Reese, when she introduced the bill to change the language. And back in 2020, Representative Cecil Thomas did another introduction of that bill during another session of the Ohio State House. And this isn't the only state where this is taking place. It has most recently been the state constitution of Colorado was changed back in 2018, and they amended their constitution, Gail, to say, and I quote, "There shall never be slavery in the state, either involuntary servitude or slavery," unquote. Gail, this is still very much a reality, and it's mind-blowing.
Yeah. And we need to remind everybody, August the 8th is the day.
Yes, August the 8th is the date. And before you go, everybody, Kenny Stanley kind of stole some of my thunder, but I'm glad he stole some of the thunder. But I want you all, because this is the 3rd anniversary month, I may not be able to sing like Tony Tone, as y'all know, it's your anniversary. But hey, everybody, what I want you all to do along with me, Isaiah, help me out if you can. Throw up the Cash App. I want you all to go over and bless the News in Motion crew, Miss Gail Dudley, as well as Isaiah and the rest of the team. That's Cash App, $MIM today. And also, where else can they give to Isaiah? I'm slipping here. Not in my A game right now. So, Also, you could write out your checks to Making a Difference LLC, the fiduciary agent for News in Motion and Ready Media Publication. Their address is on the screen, and for all the audio listeners, that's Making a Difference LLC, and the address is 346 half North 20th Street, Columbus, Ohio 43203, and then the memo line, just put NIM, News in Motion, Gail Dudley. So Al Edmondson and the good people over at Making a Difference knows your contribution is going towards News in Motion and Miss Gail Dudley. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Is your
Is your
mom
mom
okay?
okay?
Yeah, she is. She's staying with me for the week. She was coming outside to get in the car and tripped down the steps, and I hear my name being yelled by multiple people. So,
Okay,
but she's doing good.
Never
Never
apologize
apologize
for that. Your
Your
mom's
mom's
important, and
and
make sure
make
you
sure
go
you go
take
take
care of
of
her.
her.
Yes, I'm on my way to do that now.
Okay,
Okay,
see,
see,
thank you
thank
so
you
much
so
for
much
your
for your
report.
report.
Thanks.
I was like, where did I go? I did that. I did that. My fault. My fault. My fault. All right, y'all. CNBC is reporting. And I want to go back to something Devontae said. We have to pay attention to these kind of elections because they all the dots connect, y'all. All the dots connect. And what he shared with you, again, precedents already happened in Colorado. So pay attention to what's happening. They're taking that same language and they're moving it somewhere else. So we have to pay attention. All right, I see Gwendolyn in here. What's up to you this morning? Shirley's talking about herself and her hubby watches Wheel of Fortune. Gwendolyn was saying the same thing. Kenny said he had his groceries delivered. He said he's not going back. Hester says she loves Wheel of Fortune. Yes, we are glad that his mom is okay. All right, y'all. CNBC is reporting. We're going to wrap up out of here because I got an inspirational message that I hope you stay in to listen to. Washington Post. First of all, I have a question. And as much as I do the news, somehow I missed this. Did y'all know that Jeff Bezos acquired 9 years ago and is the owner of the Washington Post? Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. Anyway, Washington Post publisher and CEO Fred Ryan will step down after 9 years, and Bezos will appoint an Amazon board member as the interim CEO. Washington Post talks about the helm of the newspaper, and all this will take place in August. Now, Fred Ryan, who oversaw the Washington Post for the last 9 years or so, came at the same time that the founder, Jeff Bezos, which is also 9 years, acquired it, and instead led the newly informed. He will leave the Washington Post to lead. He will leave the Washington Post to lead the newly formed nonpartisan Center on Public Civility at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation. A lot's going on there, y'all. We got to connect these dots. I said, well, when did Jeff Bezos acquire Washington Post? It's very interesting how things are happening, which goes back to all the news I shared so far today. And that's why I lay out the run of the show the way that I do, because all of those dots connect. Every last single dot connects. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to go into the inspirational message. And when I gave Isaiah the inspirational message, Kenny Stanley was in there, Devontae were in there, and they were like, what? Here's the title. You are not invited. You are not invited. What do you do with that? What do you do with that if someone says to you, you are not invited? I was speaking with a young lady on Sunday afternoon after I had preached a sermon in Circleville. And the young lady said to me, she says, I'm having a hard time because I'm learning that my friends are being invited to places and I'm not being invited. And she became somewhat emotional behind that. So as I was listening to her, I said to her, I said, girl, I don't get invited to stuff either. She said, you? And I said, I don't get invited. I said, no. I said, you have to be able to be comfortable and be free in who you are and know who you are, not to allow those things to bother you. I said, will they hurt sometimes? Yeah, you may ask a question like, why did I get invited to that? I said, but here's the truth, because we were unpacking this. And I just want to be transparent with all of you this morning, because I really believe that so many people experience this and you don't know what to do with it. I am a person that I can be an introvert and an extrovert. I can. I know that just blew some of y'all away. Like, you an introvert? My extrovert, that's what you see here on News in Motion. Extrovert is when I was a cheerleader in high school. Extrovert is because I do these speaking engagements and all of that. That's that extrovert side of me. But I have almost a balanced introvert. I can go into myself and not deal with anybody. And I am quite comfortable in doing that. So I have both. I have both. I can hang with my son and we're both extroverts and we probably drive people crazy. I can hang with my daughter. She's somewhat of an introvert. She likes to be behind the scenes, but we can have fun. My husband, he's an introvert. He's not having any of it. So I have a balance. That's how I'm able to flow. So I was telling this young woman, I said, I said, I understand sometimes the pain that comes with that. I said, but sometimes people don't invite you to the table because they can't handle the how you're being an extrovert or because you kind of like light a spark in a room and maybe people are paying attention to you and they can't handle that. I said, sometimes they don't invite you because they know good and well you don't want to go. I said, for me, I said, people, I'm like, thank God I didn't get invited to that because there's places I just don't want to go. I don't. Because of everything that I do is like my shutdown time. I said, but the difference is, and I want y'all to follow me here. I said, the difference is at least invite so I can say yes or no. And she said, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I said, but also be okay with not being invited. I said, and that's a place of freedom that I was not always there. When I do a lot of mentoring with young women. That's a part of the ministry that I do. No, they don't pay me to do it. They reach out and say, hey, do you have space to mentor me? And I'm like, yes. And we'll meet like maybe once a quarter or something like that, sometimes more. And in this conversation, I was being vulnerable with her. I said, I wasn't always there. I said, but something has happened with me over the past year and a half that I'm living in a freedom and my boldness and my confidence is coming out. And I share with her, as I share with you all, probably sometime last year in an inspirational message where I said, you have to give yourself permission to succeed. And I shared that in my sermon on Sunday as well. So I was able to bring that back around to share with this young girl. You have to give yourself permission to succeed. Give yourself permission to be free. Give yourself permission to be sad if you need to. Give yourself permission to live. Give yourself permission to hurt. Give yourself permission to feel what all of those feelings are. Give yourself permission to do that. Hester says, on point, Gail, me too, both introvert and extrovert. Dr. Antoinette says, same here. I'm both. I'm good being in a crowd and I'm good being with my bishop and I'm good being by myself. Yo, we have to be able to be comfortable to being by yourself. I can go to a restaurant, a nice restaurant, all by myself and have the best time. And people will say, wow, you did that and you don't even look timid. Why? I'm free. I can sit here because I love me. And I think that's another start. We have to love ourselves. Let's go back. Let's take it to the word. It says, love your neighbor as yourself. Many people cannot love other people because they're not taking time to love themselves. They're not taking time to having that opportunity to wrestle with where they are and what's going on. Hear me as I shared with this young lady. I'll share this here, and these videos never go away unless somebody takes them down. We don't take them down, but in case Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn takes them down, they'll disappear. But until then, I have no problem sharing this with you. There's been times I had conversations, like crying conversations with my husband. I said, I don't understand why I'm not getting invited to some things. And he said, Gail, look at who you are. And I said, well, who am I? Because I don't see myself as other people see me. I don't. And that's a weakness of mine that I have to deal with myself. He said, some people can't handle you at the table, sis. And I'm like, I'm your sis today. And he's like, well, I'm just talking to you. I want to relate to you. He said, some people just can't handle you. He said, there's other people who know you would say no anyway. He said, because you verbally tell people that. And I would say to him, like I just said to this young lady on Sunday, and I just said here, but let me say no. Let me say no. But then he says to me, which is true, and I shared this with the young lady, and I want to share with all of you today. I was up in a space on Saturday evening that I still don't know how I got invited to. And I was with some seriously powerful people. And there was probably about 5 people who looked like me. So he says, so when I was telling her, I said, but then sometimes you end up in places, you're like, how did I get here? How did y'all pull my name to get here to be at this table? What does that look like? And we have to keep a journal and keep writing in that journal our accomplishments, our connections, and what we share and give to the world. I hope Devontae doesn't mind me sharing this. We started a coaching session yesterday. Y'all, he has a project. Oh my gosh, I can't wait till he reveals it. It's coming out in September, and News and Motion is going to be promoting it. And Devontae could tell. He says, Matt, you went to another level, because when you are passionate about something, you give it everything that you have. And that becomes, and that becomes the person, and that lets people know who you are. So I was sharing with Devontae, so you got to weave in your brand and everything you do. And I said to him during that time, I said, now listen, what are the phrases and words that you use often? I said, that is going to weave in your brand. Listen, y'all, you may not be invited to things for whatever number of reasons. You're just not invited. And some of that becomes a trigger because when you were children, you wanted to be invited to parties and people didn't invite you. So now, as you are older and you're older adults, you're wanting to be invited, and that trigger sets off. And this is what happened to this young lady. The trigger sets off, and she's like, I remember in elementary school when I wasn't invited. And I said, okay, let's work through that first. And I'm no counselor, no licensed counselor whatsoever at all. I am a Christian counselor, or I'm a Christian coach. Let me change that. I'm a Christian coach. So I'm just telling you what I know based upon my life experiences and what I shared with her. I said, get to the root of what happened in elementary school and look at yourself now. I said, today, when you leave this space with me, write down all of your accomplishments. Go back as far as you can and write them down. I said, then pray over yourself. Pray and thank God over all the accomplished that you made, and ask God to open doors for you. Ask God to connect you with people. As I preached on Sunday, you are an influencer. Y'all, all of us are influencers. Stop paying attention to social media and focus on who you are. I know I'm running over y'all, but I feel like I need to keep giving this message. You're an influencer. Embrace the influencer that you are and stop looking at someone else to influence you. Hester says, God put you at the table, receive it, you are worthy. And you do have to take that on. Thank you so much for saying that, Hester. Kenny Stanley said, I'm an extrovert, and I believe that has a lot to do with me getting invited. Yeah, there you are. Jeff Payne says, true. Katrina says, I've had hard times accepting my accomplishments because I think they are very small. No, they're not small. They're not small. Y'all, that's a mindset. That's a mindset that we have to shift. That's a mindset, y'all, that we have to shift. Dr. Antoinette says, I'm espresso. If you need decaf, I may not be the one for you. There's that. Katrina says, this is very inspiring and so free. Marion Jackson, I'm an introvert and comfortable with not being invited. Gwen says, that is truth, Gail. Getting to the root will uncover and help you begin to dismantle the thing that keeps you stuck. Listen, y'all, she is licensed, okay? So y'all go get an appointment with Gwen, okay? Y'all go get an appointment with Gwen, and she's licensed. So thank you so much for putting that on there. So let me promote you right now, y'all. She's licensed. If you need to talk to somebody, reach out and talk to her. But y'all, you have to embrace who you are. Stop trying to mimic other people. And as I've been, I don't know what it is lately, but I've been letting people know, y'all, social media, for some, it's real. For some of us, we're out there giving our true selves. For others, they're different masks. Some of it's a gimmick. Some of it's to help them feel better about themselves. And I'm not judging anybody for any of that. But y'all, stop comparing yourself to what other people are doing. And you will not get invited at times. And you have to be okay with it. You have to you and try your best not to say anything about it. Don't like why not get invited? Because you didn't get invited. You didn't. So weddings that are coming up, you may not get an invite. Graduation parties, you may not get an invite. People's birthday parties, you may not get an invite. I'm gonna use this as my last illustration, then I'm out of here. But y'all are not leaving, so y'all must be getting into this. So I just kept feeling this was a word that needed to be shared. Um, there's been times that I've had birthday gatherings. And the truth is, you can't invite everybody. You just can't do it. So you have to figure out who's going to be invited. I'll never forget when I turned 50. When I turned 50, that was 8 years ago. I wanted to go to Martha's Vineyard. Never been there. I wanted to go. So my husband and I had a conversation, and y'all heard me, I think, tell us a part of this story before. So rented the house for a week, and I had 9 spaces, and I was a part of that 9. So that left 8 spaces available. Well, my daughter was coming; she was coming, so she got. Of course, she coming. She's like the event person. She's the marketing person, whatever. She was in college, so with her, I know I needed to have another person her age. So my niece was coming. So that's 2 more. So I left 6. I have a whole lot of friends. How am I going to narrow it down to 6? And I sent out several invites. I probably sent out 12, and 6 of those 12 were available for the 7 days. So that's what we did. And people say, "Can I post pictures?" Yeah, you can post pictures because everybody couldn't be invited to that. Last year before, I had a party here, not a party, a gathering, a luncheon here, and it's like, okay, I got space for 20 people. Who's the 20 people? How am I gonna get these 20 people here? How am I gonna narrow this down? And that is a hard thing, but you start looking at the relationships and the connection and the closeness and doing it. So some people didn't get invited, and I heard about it. And I said, you know what? I had so many spaces and everybody couldn't be invited. I still love you. Hopefully, you still love me. You have to figure out a way to communicate that. But the other thing is this: don't take all of that onto yourself because you can only do so much. You can only do so much unless it's a big venue. Even if you were able to invite 100 people to something, understand somebody's still going to be left out because at 101, at 100, everybody else get cut off. Y'all, we have to be comfortable. We also have to stop taking things personally, and we also have to understand who we are in Christ, period. We have to understand that. I am on this. I see you, Pastor Anita. I am on this path. Even the last 2 sermons I've preached all connect to healing for women. And it's so interesting. I used to be very careful when I would say things, but the last 2 times, I haven't preached in 3 years until these past 2 times. The last 2 times, I have given everything that I had in those sermons. I mean, I'm like depleted when it's over. And I sit back and I'm like, I said that. And God said, because I asked you to say it and you were obedient in delivering the message I needed you to deliver. He said, the time is now. He said, you've been talking about be bold and make bold moves. He said, it's time for you to minister and to share and to speak to the audience like that. He said, just go forward. He goes, because I got you. I heard that voice when God said he had me and I am free, but I'm going to stay in alignment with him and I'm going to stand up under his word. I'm not going to go to off to the side and get into my flesh. I need to stay where he is directing me and leading me. And y'all, I think that has a lot to do with it as well. I did not mean to go this long. We are literally at an hour with News in Motion. I did not mean to do that, but I'm not going to apologize because y'all didn't leave here, which means that y'all wanted this word and this was a word that was needed. So, y'all, today, I want you to embrace, no, I'm not invited, but that's okay. It's okay that I'm not invited. It is okay that I'm not invited. Again, everybody doesn't want you at the table. And here's this truth: why would you want to be somewhere where you're not welcomed? There's that. Why would you want to put that on you or use the energy and to stand in a place where you know you're not invited and you know you're not wanted? To me, that's too much stress. I don't want to be in that place. That's sucking my energy. That's being toxic. You're reminding me that you don't want me there in the first place. Why do I want to be there? No, I want to protect my heart. I want to protect my mind. I want to protect my physical well-being as well, because we carry that stuff with us. Then we chew on that stuff and we wonder, why didn't they invite me? Why did they not want me at the table? Here's the truth: because they didn't want you there. Be okay with that and stop trying to force yourself into something that where God is trying to tell you don't belong there anyway. You don't belong there. I don't know why I'm on this. Anita, you're gonna have to pray for me. I don't know why I see Dr. Annette in here too. You're gonna pray for me. Listen, why do you want your anointing to be mixed with some toxic stuff and mentality? Why would you want that for yourself? See, y'all, it's the mindset. That's what we need to change. We need to change that. Why do I want to prove to you that I belong someplace where God is like, I don't want you there. I don't want you. There's a reason they didn't invite you. Stop trying to force yourself in there and stop. Here's this too. Stop trying to manipulate. That's using witchcraft to put yourself in a place where God doesn't want you in the first place. Stop, y'all. Stop doing that. Please stop doing that. Know who you are. Know who you are and embrace it and get this in your spirit. Everybody doesn't like you. Everybody doesn't like you. And you sit back and say, what did I do to them? You didn't do anything. You didn't. Your very presence intimidates them. They don't like you. They know you can discern stuff. They don't want you to discern where they really are and how they really feel. So stop. Be comfortable where you are at the point of where you are and live in that freedom. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. All right, I got to go. But one day maybe we can have a chat about some of this stuff so that we can get delivered from something. Maybe we need to have a deliverance service. All the preachers out here. Maybe we need to have a deliverance service and get people delivered. It don't have to be 2 hours. It can be 10 minutes. It can be one proclamation, one declaration, and we can all get delivered at the same time. We have to be free, people. We have to be free. Listen, you survived a pandemic. Over 1 million people did not in America. You survived the pandemic. You have a purpose. God has a purpose and a plan for your life. You survived. Some of you are still struggling with long COVID, but you survived. Some of you didn't think you were going to make it through COVID, but you survived. Some people may have lost some hearing, still haven't have all your taste back, but you are still here. The question now is, why are you here? What is it that God wants you to do? Don't waste your time thinking about who's not inviting you. Don't do that. Use your time to make sure you're representing Christ. That's how you use your time. All right, y'all know what I say. Stay well, everyone. And remember, make some bold moves. We're out.
In motion.